92 Pro FM mornings. Kim and I have become such a fan of the Traitors. Actually, Derrick, you're kind of why I started watching because we got a Rhode Island guy on the Traitors. I missed out on the first two seasons and now I'm obsessed. How are you doing?
I'm good and I'm alive. So that's good, right? I'm still here, be able to talk to you from heaven, but we're here. We're
You
here.
are not murdered.
No, it was a great experience. Traders is a great show. I haven't been on reality TV in over 10 years. And
Yeah.
I've been asked to do a few different shows, always said no, had no interest in it. My best friend Cody was on season one. I really liked how they, kind of put the show together. Thought it'd be an interesting concept for a former detective. And then the stars aligned. This season just worked out. I initially wasn't going to be able to make it, but we were able to move some things around. So I flew right from the Crime Con Awards in Nashville to Scotland. And I'm really glad I did. It was a lot of fun.
Now, you mentioned right at the beginning just now, you're here, you weren't actually banished or murdered. What did
Yes.
you think of your friend Danielle's reaction? She had such an extreme reaction to when it turned out you were the one murdered.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff we talk off camera in there. We had a lot of personal conversations, and I've been wanting to play with Danielle for 10 years. She's a legend in the Big Brother community, and we've talked about it. And I think ultimately she had to make a business decision. Clearly, it was the right one with how we saw things work out. She kind of lowered Rob's guard and was able to attack him again that night. So she had to give up a little bit to get a lot, and I completely understand it. We spoke sense. There's no ill will. The funny thing is, I basically thought she was a traitor up to that point. We had the riddle competition, and I was like, something's off with her. She doesn't act like this. And then me and Brittany had that fallout in episode 6 where I'm like, wow, I was wrong the whole time. It's Brittany. Look at who's defending Rob, and look who voted for him. And I said, man, I got it wrong. So leaving that, we do like our post-mortem, which will be, I think, out on YouTube today. And I was like, I still don't know if it's Brittany or Danielle. But overall, it's a game. I hold no ill will toward her. I hope she goes all the way.
Did you ever doubt that Boston Rob, you were zeroed in on he had to be a traitor? And did you ever doubt it? Like, hey, maybe one of us who were in the cages weren't the traitor.
It's always possible. Everyone's giving me credit for that kind of monologue I gave, but the reality is I was petrified. Because think about it, right? I'm so convinced it's him. I'm like giving this monologue and I'm pointing out Alan. Imagine if it's Wes. Imagine if he gets up there and says it's him. My career is over at that point. So I was really nervous about it. You can never be 100%, which is why Rob gave himself away by being 100% certain about Bob the drag queen. And
Yeah, that was,
that's it. I knew at that point that was as good as you're going to get as far as evidence indicating someone's a traitor in the traitor castle. It's not going to be more overt than that. So I was fairly confident enough to put my whole game on the line for it.
Looking back on it, Derrick, what would you have done differently in your gameplay?
I don't, it's tough because the only thing I think I could have done is maybe pulled the trigger sooner. You know, Rob was voting out all the independent thinkers from Dorinda to Bob H. Anybody who would push back on him or would think back for themselves, he was slowly getting rid of them through banishment or murder. And if I do it a little sooner, maybe those people are still in the castle because unfortunately, even though I thought a pretty solid argument, a lot of the people in there were they had already convinced themselves that Rob was their friend. And they were voting based on emotion, not logic. And ultimately, that's what it came down to was, hey, your story's compelling, but we just don't like Wes. So that's how we're going to vote. So maybe if I do it sooner, there's a different outcome. We were one vote away from a tie. If we get that tie, I think I get him out. And then the game is completely different at that point. So I don't regret the decision. Maybe could have done it sooner. Either way, it made for good TV, though.
biggest shock from being in the castle.
Biggest shock from being in the castle, probably how much in love Dylan was with Rob. I knew that he was a fan of his, and I knew that he wanted to work with him. But watching the show back, I thought I had a chance of Dylan voting for Rob. I was completely wrong. He was enamored by him. Some people have been like, "Oh, I think he knew Rob was the traitor." He did not. We've talked since the show. He definitely didn't know, and he just really liked him, and he wanted to work with him because of the Bob the Drag Queen thing, and he was committed to him to the end. So you gotta respect the loyalty. But I thought I had a chance with Dylan after giving him the shield. I didn't realize how much he was in Rob's pocket.
And just enamored by him.
Right. Hammered. Yeah.
Now, Derrick, if Alan had tapped you on the shoulder initially as the traitor, if you were a traitor, what would you have done differently?
So what I would have done in hindsight, it's always easy, right? But in what I would have done is I basically left Rob with two terrible options. One was keep me in the game and go toe to toe with me again at the round table. That wouldn't have worked out well, I don't think, for him. Or keep me, or take me out and then it completely expose himself because I was the last cage boy. What I would have done in hindsight is you keep me in the game. You get out Danielle. You have Carolyn. They already agreed to work together. Him and Carolyn go after Danielle, get her out, and immediately recruit me. You recruit me, you bring me in, and then you banish me at the next round table. You team up and you blindside me and then say he was the cage boy that was the traitor. Now you're skating to the end.
And Rob is pretty diabolical. So I'm surprised he put himself in that corner. I'm a
Well, he said it.
I'm a
He said
Boston
it.
Rob fan too, but I mean, you're our Rhode Island guy.
I tried. And, he's a legend. He's done what, 15, 20 shows? This is my second show. So
Right.
even to be on the screen with him and to, I think, compete at the same level with him,
Absolutely.
I was proud of myself because he's very experienced in these games. And I do think he got a little emotional with it because he said it to Danielle. I want my revenge. Revenge isn't how you win these games. But he wanted to get me out because I think he felt like I got the best of him at the round table. And I take nothing but, it as a compliment because, like I said, the guy's been doing this since I was almost in high school. So, he's an absolute legend. It was a privilege going after him and it was a privilege playing with him. And if you're going to go out, I want to go out against the best. It was a heavyweight fight. So,
And you almost got him.
yeah. And it's kind of poetic. We go out in the same episode, you know, we had a standoff. There was a shootout and we died from the injuries.
So, yes, it was a New England send-off as well.
It really was, man. It really was. Like, if you're going to go out, I don't want to get banished. I don't want to get murdered, not taking my shot. It was worth it.
And just a couple things, whether you can answer them or not, just about your overall experience.
Sure.
So when it's time for the traitors to meet in the turret,
Yep.
and you guys, this is already documented how you go to the hotel and you're not actually at the castle. You have to be locked in your rooms, right? Like there's no way you can leave.
So I can't answer that,
Ah,
obviously.
okay.
What I can tell you is, the game, I love the production of it. They're very good at what they do. And you would think as a detective, I'm going to be able to figure out what's going on just based on, the production of television. They got it down to a science. They know what they're doing. It is impossible to figure out who the traitors are just based on how they move you around or whatever. But it's a great game. It's a difficult game, involves a lot of luck. But they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. It's a lot of fun. But people who think, oh, I would figure it out because this person would be, not in the room at this point, and that would give no, it doesn't work like that. Trust me.
Right.
They've got it. They've got the wrinkles worked out here.
All right. Here's what I need to know. I need to know now that we know you're watching it back. Are you kind of happy you got murdered before that whole bug growth challenge?
No, that wouldn't have bothered me. I don't like tight spaces. I'm claustrophobic. So that last year they were in like a tunnel, that would have bothered me. But the bugs, throw them on my head. You could see a lot of them. You just don't think about it. It's 8 minutes. Listen, at that point, the way I was pandering for a shield to everyone, I would have ate one of those things just to get a shield because nobody was giving me a shield, and I definitely needed it.
Derrick, thank you so much for coming on with us, and we can't wait to have you back in studio next time.
We'll
Thank
we'll we'll buy you breakfast. It
Thank you.
won't be
I hope I made Rhode Island proud. We didn't get the W, but I think we made an impact.
Traitors, come
you
on.
rocked it. You
Yeah.
rocked it.
Thank you. Maybe next time. Maybe next time we'll go all the way.
And we'll have, what was it, crumpets?
Crumpet munchers. Crumpet munchers. I mean, come on. It's just great. The show is amazing.
Yes.
It's not as serious as Survivor or Big Brother, and that's what makes it fun. And I think the people who keep that in perspective, like me and Robert, we're tight. We're texting all the time. We're cool. It's a game. It's entertainment. You're supposed to leave the show smiling. And if you do that, then it was a success.
Yes, it was. Derrick, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.